What up? Welcome to In the Corner with Cody and Isaac.
Isaac and Cody. Yeah, before we get started, we missed out on last weekend's one because
We had a crazy week.
Cody had a baby.
I did. Yeah, it was a long week. It was very eventful. My wife had a very long labor. We had a we had a home birth with a midwife, and she went into labor Tuesday morning at 4 a.m. And didn't give birth until Thursday at midnight. He was born at 12:08.
Not only did he have a baby at home, he also delivered. You delivered your own baby.
I delivered,
basically.
yes. So the plan was for me to catch the baby, right, with assistance from the midwife. But
Like catching like a football.
yes, it flies out of there if you don't catch him. No, so I was supposed to catch him, but the midwife was supposed to be there. So she had multiple births that week and just had one the night before Milo was born. So she was exhausted. We were exhausted. So she had gone home to rest because we had all thought that my wife had a few more hours of labor before things got serious, even though she had been in labor for 2 days. She was just not fully dilated and whatever. So we were trying to rest. You know, Kaylin, my wife, she, like I said, was in labor for 2 days. It was all natural at home. It was crazy. She's so tough. She couldn't eat or drink anything. Every time she'd eat or drink, she'd throw up.
What?
Yeah, because the contractions were so painful that she was swallowing air when she was doing her breathing.
Yeah.
So she couldn't eat or drink. So not only was she exhausted, like literally no sleep for those full 2 days over, but yeah, she couldn't eat or drink. So we were worried, but we stayed positive. I was kind of faking it, you know. And then so we called the midwife because Kaylin started getting different contractions, and it's called the Ferguson reflex for those of you that want to know. But she started getting like this pushing sensation where she couldn't help it. She just kind of bared down, started pushing.
Oh, wow.
So I called the midwife and said, "Hey, she's feeling this," and the midwife said, "Well, just see if she can feel the head, and I'm gonna start heading over." So we got her in the room, and I looked back there, and I could see the head. It was crowning. So I told her, and she said, "What?" And she kind of panicked a little bit. She's like, "Okay, I'm headed over. I'm in the car, but I'm 22 minutes away. I'm not gonna make it. You're gonna have to deliver the baby."
Wow.
So I was terrified, absolutely terrified. I don't think I've ever been so scared. You know, my heart just dropped, stomach's full of butterflies. We had one of her friends there. She had just gone to bed. I woke her up, said call 911 because we didn't have anybody, right? Just in case. So the fire department ended up showing up, and then like 5 minutes later, the midwife showed up as the baby's coming out, and they just they were really cool. They just let me do it, but we're there just in case anything happened. So he came out perfectly fine. Yeah, and then I delivered the baby, and she's okay, and the baby's great, but I've never been so scared in my life. And then we stayed up again all night that night, and the next day, I didn't get sleep until the following day, till Friday night. So I don't know how many hours that is, but it was crazy. It was insane.
That's stressful.
I'm still recovering.
Just to note even more how much of a badass Kaylin is. She left you asleep when she went into labor and just texted you.
Yeah, so at 4 a.m. Tuesday morning, she went into labor. She went in the shower, started having contractions, and she just texted me. I woke up at 7 in labor.
Labor happening.
Labor happening. That's right. I told you that. So I woke up, and I turned my phone off airplane mode because I keep my phone on airplane mode while I'm sleeping, and it goes ding, labor happening, and I jump out of bed like, what? And I go to the bathroom, and she's in there, and she's fine because it wasn't too bad at that point, you know. But I just thought that was funny. But then, yeah, it continued for days and days, and it was just She's very tough. Like I said, all natural at home. No, nothing, man. Crazy.
No
Like,
drugs,
she didn't even get
no help or
she didn't even get to eat.
Yeah. Animal.
So yeah, and then she also was doing cartwheels and practicing wrestling at week 40. You know, the baby was born at 41.
Yeah, she was like blown up like a balloon and just in the gym.
Yeah, doing
Yeah.
cartwheels, dude. Everyone thought, yeah, but she'd been watching Emmett Lore, you know, and she's like, well, if she can do it, you know.
Yeah.
So, and she did. She was fine.
There you go. If you need someone to hire to, you know, help bring your baby into this world.
Yeah, I'm offering my services for just a penny or two here or there.
Man, that was last week, right?
That was this week. Oh, that was last week. See, I don't even know.
There you go. Well, we had two great things happen last week. We had a new child into this world, and
then
my
Tanner.
best friend Tanner won his debut.
Yeah. Cool thing about Tanner is he's was a former professional wakeboarder.
Yeah.
Yeah, decided to give martial arts a shot and took his first boxing. It was kind of boxing, but
it was more intense than boxing.
Yeah,
was
they're wearing
in a cage,
4-ounce gloves in a cage.
in 4-ounce gloves, and knocked this guy out in like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely slept him.
That's
Like, it wasn't a TKO.
It was
he put him
pretty
to
funny
sleep.
though. Then amateur fights are just crazy. This guy, when we were right before we were gonna walk out, this guy was like, "Where the fuck's my mouth guard?" And we're both just standing there looking at this guy. I'm like, "What do you mean? Where's your mouth
Well,
guard?"
he didn't have a corner, and this is funny because I think it was not the last fight, but the fight before that. I forgot your mouth guard. I was supposed to take it, remember, and I forgot it in your bag. And right before the walkout, I had to run to the locker room and run back with the mouth guard.
Mind you, this guy didn't have a corner.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have a corner, but I brought my mouth guard to the fights. I didn't forget my mouth guard.
Oh, he didn't
He
have
didn't
one at
have
all?
a mouth guard. They ended up, so the guy that runs around helping, it was there and I was like, you better make this guy prison mouth guard or something, because
What's a prison mouth guard?
you get toilet paper and you make little makeshift mouth guard.
Is that a real thing, or you just?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
They call it prison mouth guard. I've seen a bunch of guys
Is this an Australian thing?
at the gym. No, they're
you guys doing dirty
I
stuff
found that
with
out
toilet
over here.
paper?
Made a little mouth guard out of toilet paper. I told the guy to go do that. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. But they ended up getting just some other guy's mouth guard out the bag.
Wow.
And he wore that, had no corner.
If I was that other
Came
guy, I would
in.
never wear that mouth guard again after
No
someone
way.
getting knocked out with it.
No way.
It's done.
Yeah. Walked in there and then got knocked out in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, amateur fights are wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, congrats, Tanner. Awesome job. But yeah, what is the style called? Because is there no elbows? There's no kicks?
Dirty boxing, but dirty boxing rules, you get hit on the ground. I guess we call it amateur dirty boxing, where
But there's no elbows.
no elbows.
There's only fists.
Mhm.
Only fists.
You can clinch and
Oh, but you can clinch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's kind of like modified dirty boxing. It's interesting. But yeah, 4-ounce gloves.
brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Crazy.
I know, that was an eventful week.
It has been
for
a
both of us.
crazy, crazy week.
Well, you more than me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still. It's hard to tell what time it is when you stay up all night. Well, 2 nights in a row. It's hard to, I don't know. I've just never done anything like that.
Did you sleep during the day?
No, I didn't know. No, neither of us
Wow.
did.
So you used
No,
48
all night,
hours.
all day. That's what I'm saying. It's
Wow.
not. It wasn't just like, oh, we stayed up.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So everything's good now. He was born with it. We knew he was gonna have it, but it's genetic on Kaylin's side, cleft lip and palate. So then we had to go to the hospital to make sure that we could feed him right, and he looks like a little monster. He's so cute, but he's got this little monster mouth. Yeah, so we're gonna get that fixed up in the next couple of years. It's amazing. We actually just got a pamphlet today, and he has what's called a bilateral cleft palate. So basically, he doesn't have like a roof in his mouth.
Wow.
Yeah, you can like see his nasal cavity, and it's very common, I guess. But so in the booklet, I saw a kid that has the exact same. It looks like his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
where his forefront teeth are literally like out here. It's really weird. But at 2 years old, you can't even tell. Like they fix it and he looks like completely normal. So it's pretty awesome what they can do.
Yeah, born in a good time.
Yeah, it's just interesting because me and Kaylin are like pretty anti. I don't want to say anti-hospital, but like we didn't want to go to the hospital. We don't want a clinical setting. We don't really go to the doctor. And then, you know, now we're like, we have to, you know?
Yeah.
So we got like the home birth and the hospital, you know, experience all in one birth. It was a lot. But UC Davis, awesome. You know, everyone in California, everyone around knows UC Davis, and they're like top of the line. They were great. They were super cool. So yeah, that was that.
Yeah. What an experience, huh?
Yeah, let's get into some fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super down to go into fighting.
Okay, so we made some few predictions, right, in our pilot episodes, and we planned to be a little more consistent. And then you know, Milo was born, so
this guy just had to have a baby.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. So we're gonna pick it back up, but just to let you know, I am still beating Isaac on predictions by one. So that's all that matters, really. Split decision, whatever. I don't care. I'm winning. But I just want to shout out Muktabek, Oral by absolutely ragdolling Chris Curtis. You know how I feel about Chris Curtis. If you watched the first episode, I won't repeat myself, but we all know.
He was close to hitting a record.
Well, he hit that weight class's record. And he's third all time behind, I believe, Khabib and Merab. That's a crazy group to be in.
With those guys. And by not far off either. It was like, if he had like one more round, if he had a 5-round fight.
If he had a 5-round fight, he would have passed him.
Blown it like.
Yeah, I think Khabib holds the record with like 21, and then Merab's like 19 or 20, and he had 17. I mean, that's insane.
2 more rounds.
He absolutely. I mean,
they had 5-round fights for that, right?
I believe so.
There you go.
I don't honestly I don't know.
He is
But Muktabek trains with, like I said, he trains with my size. He trains with Ryan Loader, 185-pound D1 All-American, and Elliot Kelly in our group. And I mean, he's one of the best grapplers around the area. So I'm not surprised at all that it went that way.
No, we knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
That guy's a beast. It's insane.
Muktabek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, big ups to him. And like Philly too. He fought that weekend and got robbed.
Yeah, I think. Have you watched it twice now?
Did
you go back?
I just watched it at one time.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch it again because, man, there's just been a lot of. I don't know if it's just people are like casuals are thinking they know more about the sport now, but there's a lot of complaints about the reffing, the judging. Now, not the reffing, the judging. Seems like a lot like that. Just this last weekend with Leon Murphy. You know, Leon, or what's his name, got a point. I can't say his name. Ivaslav or something like that. He just beat Leon Murphy. He got a point deducted. He still ended up winning the fight.
Oh, Evliov. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was blanking on his name. Movsvar.
Mosvar, yeah.
Yeah.
And he only won the, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and he got a point deducted, so it's like, it should have been a draw.
That is right.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the fights over the weekend.
And everyone's like, it was bad judging, but also Mosvar won, so they're okay with it. But like, we got to figure out this judging thing. Like, in one of your fights, dude held you up against the cage, and we got the win. But then
You did the same thing in the next
the same thing in
fight.
UFC. You did more damage when you were up against the cage.
Right.
You didn't get the win. We need to establish, like, if we can. And I'm not the guy to do it, but I do talk to Elliot Kelly, who does a lot of judging and has been around all of martial arts for a long, long time. It's just a really hard position to be in, a judge. So it's not like, I'm trying not to hate those guys, but also it affects people's careers, affects people's money.
We probably should have more fighters, MMA fighters, MMA like
People that get punched in the head.
Who's been in there scoring, because I feel like.
Like Chris Lieben.
Who?
Chris Lieben.
Who's that?
Oh my gosh, Isaac. You don't know who Chris Lieben is?
I heard the name.
Oh my gosh.
How
old are you?
23.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like there should be more fighters trying to ref fights, because we've been in there. We know the sport more than anyone else.
Yeah.
It is really tough job though.
It's a tough job, and we're just starting to get like criteria down. And then, the wrestling thing is hard because it's like if you wrestle someone but you don't do any damage, it doesn't really matter. And that's coming from a grappler. You have to do damage.
Yeah.
Control only matters if you're doing damage,
Right.
or hunting for submissions.
Right.
Right? If you're threatening for submissions, you can get advantages there, right?
You're just holding on to me and I'm hitting you.
Then you're doing damage.
I'm winning the fight.
Right.
But if you're holding on to me and hitting me and I'm not doing anything, I'm losing the fight.
Right.
That's how it should be judged.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not always
but
like
it seems like it goes back and forth on that. So I don't know. I hope that we can get better and better at that as the sport evolves.
I mean, I've been screwed by judges.
Because Feely won, in my eyes, he won that fight.
I think he won that fight.
I think second round, obviously he lost the second round, right? But he came out.
He dropped. If you drop someone in a fight,
we talked about this, yeah.
You should have more of a chance, even if it's a 3-round fight. If you drop them in the first and then you don't get dropped in the second and third, you should have more of a chance of winning.
I mean, dropping someone is huge, right?
Yeah.
Not like they stumble. It's not a stumble.
No.
Like you catch them clean and they drop and you continue the fight. Even if they win the round points-wise after that, I think dropping someone is big.
Yeah, like boxing, for example, if you drop to a knee and you get an 8 count, you're getting that. The guy's getting that round.
Right, unless they knock you down twice.
Right.
Right?
So...
Yeah, I think dropping someone's got to be a little bit bigger. I don't know. It seemed like Feely won the fight. The third round was very close. I'm not like mad about it. Dude, that kid's tough and he's good.
Right.
Feely fought really well against a good opponent, a young, good, up-and-coming opponent. Mm-hmm. I just think that he got the win.
He dropped the guy and then ended the last, 1 to 2 minutes on top, hitting the guy. Like,
right.
If that was a street fight, Feely won. If that was better judging, Feely won.
Yeah, it's hard to say he lost when he, like you said, he dropped him in the first and then ended the fight on top, punching him. Like, how do you judge it against him? I don't know. But so we're obviously biased on that too, because Feely's our guy.
It's my man right there.
Take what we say with a grain of salt, I guess.
When we see our picks, see this guy's picks is 50-50 now.
No, I'm above and you're below.
60-40.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Winning.
We got some topics from the crowd.
Yeah. Topics from the crowd, then we'll get into some predictions, our punchline prediction segment.
What's ways to improve your wrestling?
Ways to improve your wrestling. And I'm guessing this is for MMA fighters.
It's got to be.
Yeah. This is interesting. I think it's contextual because some people come in and they're naturally good at grappling. Mm-hmm. And some people come in and are not. It's the same thing with striking, right? Some people can strike, some people, it takes a lot of work. But I think from what I've seen, the best way to improve your wrestling is to learn wrestling in its pure form. I think it's a mistake to just jump into MMA grappling.
You need a base. You can't just jump into MMA and not have like a base.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, when you learn boxing, you don't add kicks in.
No.
You know?
No.
It just doesn't make sense.
It makes a big difference.
Well, one thing that I've seen with the fighters at Alpha Male is the ones that come into my fundamentals class in the morning. I have a wrestling fundamentals class. And the ones that come in for a few months at a time and understand wrestling as a pure sport, they learn how to sprawl. They learn basic shots and basic finishes. They learn a little bit of hand fighting, some top position, and a lot of bottom position. And then that can get adapted to your MMA. But like, you want to learn how to take a shot properly, and then you can change it to your MMA. Because like most of the time you don't hit a knee. Sometimes you do, but most of the time you don't hit a knee in an MMA fight when you shoot.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get that shot down if you don't learn how to take your shots in a wrestling sense. So I think the best way is to wrestle with wrestlers or grapplers. You could do it in jiu-jitsu. I think the best way is to find wrestlers, find a wrestling team, find a wrestling club, find a wrestling class at an MMA gym and wrestle.
Yeah. Seek out best coaches that you can.
Yep.
train with people who are better than you, and put the hours in.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the secret sauce to like MMA, really.
You know, I was just talking to this kid that wants to fight. He's 23. He's your age, and you know, he's like he wants to wrestle, and he's putting time into it, and then you know, he's getting antsy because he wants to fight, and he feels like he's wasting his time. And I'm like, dude, if only you like talk to like higher level guys like Slava, people that have been doing martial arts for a long time, they would like give anything to go back and be able to wrestle,
Right.
you know, on a team for a year to
Yeah.
learn that. Like they would give up time now to be able to go do that. It's so valuable. You know, it's like 1 year of pure wrestling's like doing 3 or 4 of just MMA.
Then that's pretty much, I had to like take a year off fighting at one point and just wrestle to try and catch up to these guys who grew up wrestling and college wrestlers. And I didn't even get to go to like the school for this. I just tried to find it in the gym, and I tried to seek out like high school wrestlers from, you know, their schools and stuff. That's what I had to do that.
Yeah. And it changed your whole game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was trying to tell this kid this, and he just didn't. I don't know if he understood or not, because most of the time 20-year-old kids are not very smart. And
What?
Hey,
most of the time I said, but you know, hopefully he gets it. You know, maybe I'll have Slava talk to him,
just have him watch this.
because man, it's like, yeah, have him watch this. It's so valuable. I'm glad whoever asked this question, I'm glad they asked. It's so valuable, and when I talk to these MMA fighters, they like crave it. It's the hardest part of their training, and they crave it because they don't want to be behind. They don't want to do that. Isaac, like you said, took a year off. Luckily, he had a lot of great grapplers around, wrestlers, college wrestlers, grapplers around him that he could just learn, absorb it, and he did. And now he's one of the best grapplers in the room. And now his fighting can take off. But if he didn't do that, he'd always be at a disadvantage to someone that could wrestle a little bit better. Doesn't matter how good your kickboxing is.
Yeah, I think a big motivation for me was, I heard Justin Gaethje say this: if one man can hold you down, 2 can rape you.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I don't want to be held down by one man, so.
Yeah. And one man shouldn't be able to hold you down. You
2
know?
can't hold me down.
One man your size shouldn't be able to
No
hold you
way.
down. You know? We see it over and over again. I mean, Adesanya and DDP. You know? Look at that. DDP is not even a good wrestler. Look what happened to him when he went against a good grappler. But because Adesanya has such a big hole there, he got worked, you know, in the grappling exchanges, and basically lost the fight because of that.
Yeah. How many little people do you think would it take to hold you down?
At least 500. I could probably
500.
I could take all the little
There's
people
no
in the world.
way.
I don't know if they like to be called,
500?
I don't know if they like to be called little people.
Wow. Well, it's better than what I thought I was going to say earlier.
We can blurp it out.
Smaller gentlemen. If you watch Game of Thrones, half man.
Dwarves?
Dwarves? No, that's rude.
I know.
I don't know. Whatever's the nicer way. But who answered that question was actually one of my students at the gym, Hayden. He's a younger guy he actually just took an amateur fight recently. This guy went up 2 divisions from what he fights at. Fought a bigger guy because he just wanted to take a fight and got wrestle fucked. And
There you go.
don't
See?
go up 2 divisions. Stay at what I recommend for MMA, if you're not even like, if you got day of weigh-ins, not even cutting weight, for one, just find a fight that you're walking around. You're fighting day of and you're cutting 15,
Yeah,
20
and I haven't
pounds.
seen
That's
this
not
kid
so
ever in my class, so there you
bad.
go.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Come to class.
Go to his class. How
How about that? Like, go wrestle with someone. You got to realize that in a fight, as soon as someone feels that they can beat you in wrestling, they're going to hold you down, and you're going to feel raped. And that's sometimes worse.
Yeah. Don't let Cody find you. He'll hold you down.
What
Highs
else do
and
we got?
lows. The highs and lows of my road to the UFC. I forgot who asked this question. I mean, you were there for some of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can start with the highs. I beat an Uzbekistani wrestler.
Yeah.
Pretty
Undefeated.
badass.
Undefeated.
My first main event.
We were going to get, I mean, Larry and Douglas is fighting this weekend.
That's a really good win.
You had a
For me.
TKO against him.
Yeah.
You got to showcase your kickboxing there. You know, I mean, you have some of the best kickboxing in the division. So it's just you haven't even been able to. Well, you did. You knocked Brito down right in the first round. You know, I know you as a good grappler, but the world only knows you as a good kickboxer. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I grew up doing jiu-jitsu too, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Striking's just easier.
Yeah.
Ground's hard. Wrestling's hard.
Wrestling's hard, dude. I just saw, was it Poirier on Joe Rogan was just talking about how he wants to do boxing now that he's kind of retired because wrestling is so hard.
Yeah.
It's like the worst part of his
Striking's
week.
easy.
It's like the classes are hard. It's grueling. Hurts your knees. It hurts your hips. You're banging on the ground. Like, man, it's hard. It's a hard thing, you know. But you got to do it. If you don't do it, you might as well just box.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing MMA if you're not doing any wrestling. Like, how many times a week do we wrestle? Like 3-4 times sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, with MMA, then you have the cage wrestling, which is kind of a whole nother sport.
That's a whole nother, yeah.
Right? Like Uriah always says, you're here, you're here, or you're here. And this can be up against the cage or in the open.
Yeah, cage wrestling is just different breed, man. But I think like a lot of the highs were like beating Lehion was a really good one. Being able to travel all around America, like not many Aussies have been able to do that fighting wise.
Yep.
I've been super grateful. I mean, I got a main event before my UFC debut, and then before that, I got a co-main event and finished the guy in
50.
2 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, was it 2 minutes? Yeah. And that was just a textbook. I mean, that was a big high for me because that was the first fight I cornered you in, and everything we went over. Not everything, because you didn't even get to it, but like everything you did in the fight, we had gone over step by step, and then you did it like down to like the wrist pull once you got the second takedown.
Everything,
like we get the takedown, and I was like, I remember we talking about it, like, don't worry if he stands up, let him stand up, just go right back to your outside reap.
Did it.
And you did it, boom.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like that was just step by step, and like there was just so much more shit we could have hit him with. I didn't even get to do all the things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he just left his neck open.
I mean, you must have elbowed him in the head a good 10 times before.
I wanted to knock him out with
those elbows. Go look it up if you want to see a fun fight that's very short, a couple minutes. Isaac Thomson versus Bad Combo Henry. Had a bad night. Bad Combo had a bad night, dude.
You go watch his walkout. He has a pretty entertaining walkout. It's pretty silly.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious.
So that was good. Lows would be, I know your lows, and I wasn't there, but I remember watching it. Like, what is wrong with you? You had an older dude that put a body triangle on you. What was his name?
I don't know his name. I forgot his name, but yeah, I got robbed of a fight on that one. I beat the shit out of him. He stayed on my back for 1 round, and then rounds 2, I beat the shit out of him. Round 3. He got on my back again, but I ended up reversing it, and then they gave him
the decision
somehow, whatever.
So that was a little bit of a setback.
That was a setback. I got beat up by Dorian Ramos.
Yeah.
He's a pretty badass guy too. He actually just won over the weekend as well. So.
Oh, did he?
Good luck, good job, bro. Yeah. Yeah, he beat me up. I tore his. Actually, that guy's super tough though. I fought him when I was 19. I think he was like 28. I heel hooked him, tore his knee up.
I remember this.
And then this guy, like, I'm heel hooking him. He turns and his leg is like facing this way. He's punching me. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell is going on? I just tore your knee up. Why haven't you tapped? And then we get into like a second round. He's still standing on it, and just beat the shit out of him.
And now he just won in the UFC.
He fought on Contender against a really Austin Bashi, who's another like pretty good prospect, and lost a pretty grueling fight. But he just won, Dorian just won a fight over the weekend. And
in LFA?
I don't know what kind
or some whatever
one, but good on him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's
fights winning a fight.
Just another thing that comes to mind with that is I was talking to another kid about he has a little meniscus tear, and he's like freaking out about it, and I was trying to tell him like, hey man, it could be a lot worse, and this is part of the sport. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna either be rehabbing an injury or dealing with an injury almost your whole career.
Yeah.
Like things are gonna happen. I can't even count how many I've had 3 meniscus surgeries. I stopped getting surgery because it's just gonna happen, dude. So,
I don't even know if I've had a fight where I haven't had an injury.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
had like broken
meniscus, your
toes,
ACL,
neck,
your
knees are all fucked up. I had like this skin infection on my finger one time, and my
Yep.
like skin was like deteriorating on my pro debut. Like that was fucking. That
Yeah.
one was painful.
People are breaking their hands in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, they have torn hamstrings. I mean, it's just part of it, dude.
A
And
little
meniscus
meniscus
is
isn't even that bad.
no
You're lucky to have a little meniscus one instead of like
an
an
MCL,
ACL.
ACL.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I was trying to explain to him. But I don't think he's had any serious injuries, so it's hard to explain that because he hasn't had those experiences.
I think the best way to fix that is you go to Home Depot, you get yourself a little spoon of concrete, and you harden the fuck up. You know, like
I hope he listens to this.
I really hope you listen to this.
Yeah, but Yates, you know, I think you heel hooked both sides in that, didn't you?
On Dorian, yeah, I heel hooked both of his legs.
But you
No,
definitely
I heel hooked one and then I armbarred both arms and popped both arms
popped
too.
both arms. So I mean, for sure he has multiple tears in joints.
Yeah.
And that was 4 years ago. He's still fighting winning fights.
Yeah. You just deal with it.
But Yates is not alone in that. Like everyone is going through that kind of stuff. Maybe not to that extent, but
Been there.
if you're a young MMA, someone that wants to do MMA, just know that injuries are a part of it, dude.
Yeah. My mom always said you can walk around it. There's always, unless it's like something spinal or like
Right.
there's something you literally can't do anything, you can work around it. Look at Elkins for example. That guy split snapped his shin.
Yep.
And then like a couple weeks later I see him hitting like these rose things just with his leg.
Yep.
Just doing this shit. Like that guy's a badass
Can't
in general,
stop him.
but you can work around these things.
You have no choice.
Otherwise you just slow down.
Yeah. You can quit. That's the other choice.
I got my surgery and I was back in literally the week after hitting rehab and like coaching. I was coaching the week after I had knee surgery.
Yeah. And the reason that I don't fight is because I'm scared to get punched in the head. That's what you should be worried about, not your joints. Like that stuff's gonna hurt whether you're gonna grow old. Yeah. It's gonna happen. Age is gonna get the better of all of us. But man, I don't want to get punched in the head too much.
Yeah. No, I try not to get hit too much. The cool thing of like Strickland, like he doesn't really get hit that much either, and like I want to start with my sparring more often, getting better on not getting hit even more.
You can Philly shell it up, dude.
Yeah. Philly shell is badass. MMA gloves, that's hard in MMA gloves.
Yeah.
You know, but another low, I think would be just not knowing what the fuck was happening. Like, am I gonna make it into the UFC? Do I have to do contender? Like that like majority of last year was like, what the fuck is happening? You know, like, do I need to fight again? Like they were saying like, take a fight, but
but be ready.
Be ready. So I was like, all right, I'll take a fight.
But it could be next year.
You might have to wait till contender. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
and
it's so frustrating.
You're not alone in this, but for you and others that put your whole life was for this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've been training for this year, your whole life.
It was 15 years of work.
And every fight mattered, but less than this last one.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just so interesting because that fear of the unknown, like, man, did I just, you're like, did I waste my whole life?
Right.
You know, and that's not reality because I think that martial arts has more benefit than just getting into the UFC.
No, absolutely.
But, you think those things go across your mind.
Yeah, it's like, man, maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done something else. Maybe
I should have been a gamer, right?
Maybe I should have been a gamer.
COD.
Yeah. But no.
Come on, Lloyd.
Come on. No. That's all jokes aside though, man. Like, you are like going through this journey, you are gonna go through some times to be like, what the fuck is happening? But if you, just stay consistent and stay into it, usually once you work hard enough, it comes back majority of the time. Sometimes you're just unlucky.
Sometimes you are, and people
Just
are
not meant to be.
unlucky. But you just said something that reminded me. I had a quote, and I remember Feely talking about this, man, years ago after practice one day. He had a really good quote, and I'm going to pull it up because you got to be like this in life, but especially in MMA. It's a Marcus Aurelius quote. It's to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. You're just gonna keep getting beat up.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you're just gonna keep getting
It's
beat
just
up.
life.
And so you can choose to let the ocean swallow you, or you can be like the rock, you know, and let the
Dwayne the Rock?
waves crash over you, you know.
We're talking Dwayne the Rock or just a
No,
Rock?
dude, I would love to grapple Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I would
Does he
choke
grapple?
him
He's
out.
old now.
I don't care. I'd choke
Poor
him
Dwayne.
out so fast. I'd
I don't
pop
know
his
him.
head off.
Maybe we could get him on the show one day.
Maybe. I'd arm wrestle him
Dwayne,
too.
be our first guest. Arm wrestling?
What do we got?
He might beat you in arm wrestle.
He probably would beat me in arm wrestling. He's skinny now.
Returning back to training after an injury, cover the mental
Oh, yeah,
and
this
physical
is-
barriers, which we were just, we just touched on that subject.
Yeah, so, after you kind of accept your injury, coming back from it's it's another wave, right?
Yeah.
Crashing over you. You're gonna I just came back in my knee. I tore my meniscus too, and have a little like patella bone bruise, whatever. I have little stuff, but I can't bend it all the way. And coming back after a few weeks rolling, I feel a little out of shape, even though I'm not. You just feel you feel a little less. It just takes a little bit of time, and then you have doubts, you have negative talk, and you got to go through that. And I was just telling Isaac, it's going to happen. You're going to come back, and you're not going to feel as good as you were, but after a few shakeouts, you get all the rust out, and you're going to be right back.
Yeah, I mean, I got a taste of it on the air bike last week, and I don't know, I usually hit like in the 50s on calories. We do 10 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 8 times, and it's usually a test that I like to do for my cardio, and I hit 42. And like during that, I was like, fuck, like this feels shit. And I'm used to just hitting it and getting pretty high scores, and yeah, I went through a little mental battle of like, you're just out of fucking shape.
Right.
Right. But it's gonna happen again when I get back to wrestling, because wrestling cardio is just next level. It's not the same as anything else.
No.
The way to get into wrestling shape is by wrestling.
Yep, that's the only way.
Yeah. Man, what was the other one? You said something last week. Yeah, what you feel in your head is not reality as well.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, just using my own experience, I felt like I was grappling like shit, and I expect to win every go all the time, which is not reality. But
I'm gonna have a hard time accepting this when I come back too. 'Cause
yeah,
I'm used to winning a lot.
but you have to expect to win everything.
Right.
That's if you don't, you've already lost, right? So you expect to win, and then you fight till you do, and when you don't, you can't let it affect you.
No.
It's gotta be another wave. Boom, crashes and it goes away,
Right.
and you got to keep going.
And that travels into after taking a loss in an MMA fight too.
Yeah. Oh, and then but that's even harder. I would assume.
Big one to like overcome, and I'm actually, I hate that I've lost, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm kind of happy I lost when I was like 19 and earlier in my career, and I'm not losing on hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
It's you can treat it as learning.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I wanted to say about like your air bike experience is that feeling where like you have that little bit of doubt when like it hurts more than you thought it would, or you just aren't you can't push as much as you thought you would, or whatever, that out of shape feeling. I think that is mostly mental. There's definitely a physical aspect to it, right? But I think it's that just being uncomfortable feeling. And because like you don't get in shape that fast, and I could feel better on that air bike in 3 days.
Right.
But there's no way I've gotten in that much better shape. That's why I attribute it mostly to a mental thing where like you're just so much more comfortable with feeling like absolute dog shit.
No, it 100% is because it has 100% is mental because I hit it twice last week, and start of the week hit 42. The second one I hit 40, and I stopped. Like I kind of like you say I stopped like halfway through. I slowed down because it was getting hard. But like my last three, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I was like, I'm not gonna get under 40. Like that's like the minimum. And then I was able to keep pushing, and I was able to push a lot harder than I did. It was still hard, but it wasn't as hard because I pushed myself mentally and was like, stop being a bitch. Than it was like when I got halfway through.
Yeah.
And 100% is mental because, I broke a little mentally.
Yep.
But then I was able to come back and push through. I think that's a good thing that fighting has taught me a lot as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental games that you're doing, little gymnastics in yourself. Like Uriah talks about being delusional, right? In like a positive way. You have to be a little delusional. Expecting to win every single roll is delusional. There's no way. Like I'm going with people that are as good or better than me. But if you don't think like that, then you're not really, you don't have any skin in the game.
No.
You have to be a little delusional. If I lose to someone, I have to find an excuse why. Otherwise, well, I guess he's just better than me, and I might as well just quit.
Right. Well, I used to do that when I was a little bit younger, training when like Billy and that were around, and he'd beat the shit out of me on the wall. And I'd go on around again. No, I'm gonna beat this guy.
Yeah.
There's no reason I should be losing to this guy.
Right. No,
Even though I'm like 19, I can get him. I can get him. And then eventually, I think I got him like once, but it was like after like months of just getting fucked up on the wall. Same thing with Elkins. It took me maybe 3 or 4 years to finally like get something where I like didn't get fucked up by Elkins.
Yeah.
But for like, I just remember one whole year I was chasing him every day because he was beating the shit out of me, and I'm like, oh, no, like if this guy's beating me up, I got to keep going with him.
Right.
And eventually I got the better of him. Still, that guy's badass and will still. If I go back into training, he's gonna beat the shit out of me again.
Yeah.
But you have that mental switch of like, oh, I got to push. I can beat this guy. I got this craziness,
Yep.
That delusion.
Yeah. If you don't have that, and you're younger or thinking about starting it, you got to develop that. Otherwise, it's not gonna pan out for you. I'd say that might be the most important aspect of being in martial arts is little delusion, those mental games.
The greats have them. I mean, I'm not gonna put O'Malley as one of the greats, but he does have that mentality, and he has had a very successful MMA career. And he was talking to Uriah about that on their podcast, and his delusion was like all he had to do was touch you, and you would get knocked out. He could knock anyone out.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He went and knocked so many people out.
Yep.
McGregor had the same delusion.
Yep. Mystic Mac, dude.
That guy was. Yep. He changed the whole sport. That delusion that's big, man.
Yeah.
Man, I think
we cover everything.
That's everything.
All right, well, let's get into our picks.
Punchline predictions.
That's right.
Here we go. Cody decided to copy all my picks again.
Yeah, we know that's true.
So, who are they even fighting? I forgot the names of these guys that they're fighting. Let me pull it up. All right.
Pull it up.
Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr.
Yeah, so we're starting. We have 2 prelims fights, right? 2 prelims fights. This is this weekend, Adesanya versus Pyfer. Chase Hooper. We both went with Chase.
You just can't underestimate this kid. He's like, what's his name again? He won over.
Oh, Raul?
Yeah, Raul, your favorite.
Roses?
He's another guy you just can't underestimate. Like when he fought Slava, like that was crazy.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Slava. That wasn't Slava at
Slava
full
just
power for
tripped and
sure.
fell over, and then obviously Chase has insane
Chase
ground.
Hooper is a scrapper, man. He will scrap with anybody. You know. Do I think he's a top 5 fighter? No, absolutely not.
I think he beats Lance Gibson though.
I think interesting thing is Lance Gibson was a short notice fighter on your card that you fought on back in December. That was his debut, and he lost.
Second fight, and he's fighting Chase Hooper.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. They're kind of throwing him to the wolves right away. I think he had a really, really hard debut fight too.
They don't like Lance. Go on Chase.
Lance is absolutely jacked though. Dude is shredded. He wins the physique competition for sure, but I think Chase is gonna choke him out.
Roy Jones. Roy Jones? No. Oh, the fat fighters, man. You know. Don't worry about that. Anyway, Tofik versus Ignacio. I actually sparred Tofik when I back in the day, and I feel like I did pretty good. But you know, maybe the guy. I'm sure he took it easy on me. I didn't even think I was 20 at the time. So I'm gonna go Tofik. That guy's still badass as fuck.
Yeah, what weight is this at?
Lightweight.
With Tofik?
Lightweight.
It's at lightweight. For some reason, I thought he was at 45er.
No, he's too big.
Okay.
He's massive.
Oh, Muktabek missed weight against Tofik.
Right.
Muktabek Orbai, Kimura Tofik, which we weren't super surprised about, but Tofik is all around a great fighter.
Yeah, you can't judge Tofik off that fight because Muktabek is just a whole other animal.
And also Muktabek is a natural 170 pounder, and should be fighting at 170. So,
Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson.
Great fight.
Really good fight, actually, and I'm gonna go with Terrence because that guy's got that crackhead energy from being his. You know, he's got a bad past, and you know he's not gonna fall back on that stuff. He has all that fire in him. This guy is badass.
Well, it's interesting because Nelson is known for his durability. And I just don't think that's a thing when you fight someone like Terrence McKinney. I don't think that there's a durable.
He's got a great chin. He's really good getting hit.
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't think that matters.
It's not a compliment.
He is so powerful, so athletic, and is not only able to knock you out cold, but also put you to sleep.
Right.
With submissions. McKinney's biggest downfall is that he's probably the most powerful guy in the weight class, but only for about 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes.
That's right. That was that fight against.
His last fight he lost.
But he fought Slava. And
he fought Slava.
He got lucky and caught that one kick.
Caught the kick, but then he fought again, and he was demolishing, dude. Right. And guy was just able to weather the storm for 2 minutes, and then ended up finishing McKinney because McKinney was so gassed. McKinney does not want to fight more than one round. I think he's gone to the second round maybe once, twice. Almost all his fights are first round, and he either gets finished or finishes. And he's scary powerful, dude.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Terrence. Le'Veon Douglas and Julian Erosa. I think this is Le'Veon's debut, by the way. I think they're doing a nice test for him. I feel like that they're going to not throw him to the wolves yet. Julian Erosa's all right.
Yeah, he has a lot of fights. I think like 30-something fights. Fought in the UFC like over 10 times.
Yeah.
Douglas is his debut. His last fight was Dana White's.
And he knocked the guy out in the
cold.
First, so it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Douglas is good. He was the LFA champ for a while. Isaac actually has a TKO finish over Douglas. Put a masterclass Muay Thai show on him. But we got Douglas, Larry and Douglas for this fight for sure, both of us.
100%. We're going Le'Veon. Michael Chiesa versus Carlston Harris. Carlston is on a 3-fight skid right now.
Oof.
And Michael Chiesa, actually, funny story, Michael commentated for my win against Lehion.
Oh, really?
hmm
Huh.
And I got.
And now they're
he got me
fighting
an
on the
interview.
same
Now they're
card.
fighting on the same card, which
How-
is pretty funny.
How interesting is that? That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Small world. But I'm gonna go Michael. I think that guy is still badass as fuck. You know,
Yeah.
he's been in the game for forever. Um,
It'll be interesting if Chiesa is able to get to his grappling in the first round.
mhm.
I think if he is, he'll get a finish. He'll get a
So good
submission
on the
finish.
ground, man.
Yeah, and he's crafty too. Like he's not that great at striking, but he knows how to use his game to get to some strikes. You know, he's just an old vet. He's been doing it for a while. When he used to fight at lighter weight classes, he's a big guy. I don't know, he
Yeah,
did.
he's big.
So yeah, Chiesa is our pick for that one. Do we have every single pick the same?
We do, because you copied all my picks again. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. If this fight happens, if Macy can make it to the the cage,
Why wouldn't it?
because her last few she hasn't been able to make there due to health reasons.
Okay.
I'm still gonna go Macy. You know, she trained with us for quite some time. She's really good. Unfortunately, has dealt with a lot of health issues. So,
Yeah.
you know, I hope this fight makes it to the cage.
Alexa Grasso, stud.
Oh, they're both badass.
Yeah, I mean, we've all thought Macy was good enough to be a contender for the belt for a while. She's just had some roadblocks. If she puts on a good performance for this one, this could be that slingshot.
They
up
are
into the
giving
top.
Macy a good fight because Alexa is on a 2-fight skid as well. But she lost to Valentina.
Shevchenko,
so,
and yeah,
you know, it's hard to say. I mean, Alexa Grasso is still badass. So
yeah, she's very good. But it's going to be a good test. I mean, is Macy there? And this is it. If
Yeah.
she goes out and beats up Alexa Grasso, she's ready for the title fight.
yeah, so we'll see. And then we have Pyfer and Izzy. I'm gonna go Izzy, man. I love his striking. Really big fan of his striking. I don't think Pyfer has that good ground. I never paid that much attention to him.
He's kind of just a wild. He's got power, obviously. He's kind of a wild swinger. I mean, I think he has like basic ground. I don't think he's like DDP even level of grappling ability. I think Izzy has been doing his due diligence to at least become sound at defensive grappling. Honestly, I see an Izzy comeback.
I'd like one.
Yeah, I think he's kind of gone back to the drawing boards, and I think we're gonna see a new era of Izzy for a few years. I think he's not done.
No.
Will he be champ again? I don't know, but I do think we're gonna see some highlight
He could definitely squeeze some money out of the UFC
for sure.
a few more years. Yeah, I'm gonna go Izzy for sure. Yeah. All right. Here's a disclaimer: we don't actually bet on any of these fights, so don't come at us if you guys take all our picks and they lose. That's on you. All right. Yeah, we don't bet on any of these fights, so don't take us to jail. All right. That was In the Corner with Isaac and Cody.
Peace.
Cody and Isaac. Peace.